Just as a reminder, we have 55% state of charge, and we're heading to the D'Iberville Supercharger. I don't know if I've said that on my videos before, but I thought it was D'Iberville for some reason. It's got an apostrophe after the first letter D. Before I go, I don't want to forget, go into our trip and say reset daily stats. Don't want to forget that. See how far we go today. And let's go. Well, we've crossed into Mississippi. It's raining a little bit outside, but I stopped at the Welcome Center and got a Mississippi State road map to add to our collection. Isn't it a lovely morning here in D'Iberville, Louisiana? Or Mississippi, I think. Yeah, because we're just past Biloxi. Got here with 28% state of charge, which was predicted. Ramping up. This is a 12 stall V3 install. There was nobody here when I first checked. There's one other car charging now. We're already pulling over 200 kilowatts, which is nice. Don't have quite enough charge to make it to Slidell, but we will very shortly. All right, here at the Louisiana Visitor Center, got my Louisiana State road map, and a couple of nice gentlemen in there gave me a list of good restaurants in the French Quarter of New Orleans, and a New Orleans city map shows the French Quarter and told me where to park. So I'm going to go on charge at Slidell and then head on into the city. Here we are at the Slidell Supercharger at another one of these huge shopping complexes. It says we need, starting to ramp up. I think this is a 250. I need to edit my trip. I have added Baton Rouge, so we can calculate how much we need. Looks like it has us coming back to Slidell. There we go. Very short charges. Just wanted to make something clear. I'm not just charging each supercharger. I am topping off enough that if I don't charge for 5 minutes in New Orleans at Metairie, then I could still make it to Baton Rouge without running out of charge. Sorry if I'm messing up the focus there. 45% in New Orleans, charge for 5 minutes, and reach Baton Rouge with 22%. So if I don't charge in New Orleans, I can still reach Baton Rouge before we run out of power. So I've been wandering around the French Quarter, had an alligator poor boy at the Napoleon House, one of the cafes, and now I'm on Bourbon Street. Saw a little bit of the parade, but I couldn't get a good view because I wasn't in the crowd. So I think this is interesting. I'm glad I came, but can't really get into it. I think I'm going to head and get back on the road. Whew. Well, at least I got in a good walk or two before and after lunch. New Orleans is not really my scene. I mean, it's interesting to look at all the people dressed up and acting crazy, but I prefer to go hiking. It's just not a place I found to go hiking around here, and I thought I have to come to New Orleans if I'm driving right by. Anyway, I'm going to head to Texas now. Looking forward to maybe trying some beef tonight for dinner. And away we go to our next charger. Remember when I said I wanted to charge enough that if I missed the New Orleans charger for some reason, I could get to the next one? Well, as it turns out, I didn't notice it before I clicked on it, but there's this little no icon beside the Supercharger here near New Orleans, and it says it is temporarily closed. I don't know if there's a physical problem with it or it's closed because of Mardi Gras. But I guess I'm going on to the next one, which would be charging Baton Rouge, 72 miles. We should make it there easily. We will get there with 13% battery. A little bit of an adventure. Let's go. So we made it. We actually made it with 14% instead of the 13 that it estimated we would make it. So let's plug in and see how fast we can charge here. So it wants us to go on to Lake Charles, and it says it'll take 25 minutes to get enough power to safely continue there. I know I'm planning to stop in Lafayette. It's not selected, so that should be good. Let's let it charge up till we can get to Lake Charles, and that way if Lafayette's offline, we can get there too. Lafayette. And let's see, we made it with 45%, which is a little less than it estimated, but perfect. Let's charge up. Let's charge to get at least 2 Superchargers after our experience in New Orleans earlier today. By the way, you can't see it over there. This is a shopping center with a Target around the corner, continuing our tradition of Southern Superchargers at Target. Let's go ahead and put in Channelview, Texas, if it's going to give us that option. 189 miles. Woo! It is quite a ways. We'll also stop in Lake Charles, stretch our legs, and top off. It says we're going to stop in Lake Charles anyway. Well, that's a long afternoon. Well, Lake Charles Supercharger is not happy. There's 6 stalls. 2 of them are being used. I was behind 2 cars waiting. When I asked them, they said, those cars back there, all the other ones were broken. And I said, well, this one's not hanging. Do you mind if I try it? I only need 15 minutes. And sure enough, they said it's fine. You can try it. And now it's working. So I'm going to let them know. And maybe I can get my 15 minutes so I can continue on to Channelview. So I popped over to Target because, of course, the Lake Charles Supercharger is in a Target parking lot. And I'm just walking around waiting to charge, and I see hard liquor in the Target. Which just goes to show you that every state has its own culture. Can't see me very well. I'm driving through East Texas, just across the border, stopped at the rest area. It was closed except for the restrooms, and I couldn't find any maps they had left out. So I guess I'll have to try and pick up one in El Paso or some other rest area between here and El Paso before I leave the state. I just passed a sign that said Beaumont, 23 miles. El Paso, 857 miles. Dang. Been sitting in traffic for half an hour at least, more like 40 minutes, on I-10 heading toward Houston from the east. And we finally just started moving very slowly, just a little bit at a time. But maybe eventually I'll get to my hotel this evening. Well, we would have arrived with like 22 or 23%, but because of that traffic jam, we sat in for close to an hour before it finally just broke free and never saw what caused it. We lost a couple of percent, so we got here with 19%, and it's a really weird location. We had to get off a couple of miles back and then drive on a one-way service road all the way to this Holiday Inn, and I actually missed the only turn in and had to turn around in a gated driveway and go the wrong way for a few dozen feet just to get here to charge. And we're going to go to our hotel on the other side of Houston after this, and we'll be done for the day. So I looked up the Holiday Inn in Katy, Texas, and it says it's going to take us 41 minutes to drive there. It's 43 miles. We'll get there a little after 11. It says 35 minutes remaining to get to 90% charge, maybe? It looks like even if we left now, we could have made it. Well, no, we've added 5 kilowatts. We might not have been able to make it until we added some juice. We could almost make it now. I'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll go. We're at a Supercharger, not at a Target. It's at the grocery store, H-E-B, which is a Texas chain. We're at the Katy Supercharger. Which doesn't seem to want to work. Don't know if this is a V2 or a V3, but we're not going to stay long enough to enjoy it, even if it is a V3. 129 kilowatts, 6 cents. I think that counts. Here we are at the Holiday Inn and Suites in Katy, Texas. We're going to go ahead and plug in the destination charger, even though the lady at the desk said it won't work until she turns it on. Let's go ahead and check our stats for the drive today. Trips. We have gone 524 miles and used a total of 170 kilowatts of energy. And for the whole trip, yesterday and today, we've gone 1,151 miles and used 361 kilowatts of energy. Our efficiency was a little better yesterday, 313 watts per mile, and today it was 323 watts per mile. But we also drove faster once we got in Texas because the speed limit is higher. All right, well, I'm going to bed. Good night.